Chapter 230 Snatching Soul Ring. They were very successful on this side, but there weren't many problems on the other side either. Under the light of the moon, Li Yongyu's moonblade demonstrated the great offensive strength that an agility-type soul master should possess. Han Ruoro had been observing everything. After seeing that things were fine on Huo Yuao's side, she turned her attention to the other side. As she unleashed her dazzling golden rope, the strongest few baboons were sent flying away. Only the weaker ones were left behind, but they were still tangled and restrained by the rope. Li Yongyu's only job was to kill them. At the front, the strongest 5 or 6 baboons couldn't inch any closer as they were facing the bright moon in the sky. They roared furiously, but were helpless. Zhang Lusan was calm from the very start. She was also observing everything. Jin Kai was missing at this point. Her whereabouts were unknown, but even though she didn't fight, she was the backbone. Everyone was confident that she was around. At this point, a large number of baboons were rushing toward them from all directions. Although they were entrenched atop the slope, it wasn't a 1 versus 1 duel anymore. The pressure on them increased greatly, and Han Ruoro's immense fighting strength was demonstrated. This time, Han Ruoro was Huo Yuao and Wang Dong's team member. It was also because of her presence that there was a sudden change in the soaring pressure. Han Ruoro pointed up, and her dazzling golden rope shot into the sky, forming a golden halo in the air before it abruptly descended. As the halo descended, no one felt any threat from it. When it finally landed, 4 baboons were caught within it. The rest of the baboons, including the bloody baboon king, were located outside of the halo. The baboon king had been struck by Zhang Lusan earlier and blasted out of the region of the halo. In the next instant, the bright golden halo blew apart and unleashed an immense explosive force. This explosive force didn't possess tremendous destructive abilities. However, its impact was great. Countless baboons were sent flying, and they knocked down the rest of the baboons that were rushing up the slope. Only the 4 baboons within the halo remained there. The rest of the area was temporarily cleared of baboons. Everyone else was highly skilled, so they wouldn't let such a great opportunity slip. Zhang Lusan's 5th soul ring shone brightly, and the crescent in the sky turned golden. Instantly, this crescent started to divide and form equally huge crescents that eventually streaked down. Moonfall. The golden yellow crescents turned into reaper's sides. 2 baboons in the 10,000-year level were chopped in half as the moonlight crossed them. They didn't even have a chance to unleash their bloodlust. Zhang Lusan wasn't the only one who attacked. Li Yongyu also leapt up and gestured towards the crescents above Zhang Lusan. Suddenly, the surface of his moonblade was covered in a layer of golden light. No one saw him using any soul skills. His figure only flashed by his target as his moonblade displayed countless forms. In the next instant, one baboon froze in place, and several fresh wounds appeared on its body before it collapsed to the ground. The 4th baboon was taken down by Wang Qiu's fist. The fight was simpler this time. After the golden halo toppled the other baboons, the dazzling golden rope tangled that baboon. As Wang Qiu turned around, she jumped into the air, and her body was covered by a dim golden light as she punched half the baboon's body into the ground with her landing. It was unlikely to be alive after the blow. Huo Yuao and Wang Dongda became bystanders as these few exchanges occurred. The 2 of them had reunited at this point. As they held hands, the Haodong power circulated and brought them to their strongest state. Wang Qiu is very strong. Huo Yuao whispered. Wang Dongda nodded and replied, "She's too wild. Turns out she's one violent lady." Huo Yuao grinned without speaking. He had a deeper impression of Wang Qiu eating a baked biscuit. An orange gold light flashed, and the snow lady came out of Huo Yuao's body. Her deep blue eyes blinked as she watched the baboons reorganizing. After that, she turned to Huo Yuao. Huo Yuao and Wang Dongda only interacted briefly before they started to attack. They moved up to the baboon that was pushed into the ground by Wang Qiu, and Huo Yuao pressed his left hand on its body. Wang Dongda wasn't idling either. With the support of their Haodong power, both of them were surging with soul power. Wang Dongda was a 6-ring soul emperor, and her cultivation was 1 level above Li Yongyu, Wang Qiu, and Mosun. Her 4th soul ring lit up, and her 2 hands pointed forward successively. Hexagram arrays started to rapidly appear on the ground. These hexagram arrays were lined up in a specific way. Each array was 5 meters from the next array, but their colors were varied. Apart from one at the front that was golden, the rest flashed before disappearing. Hexagram arrays were very restrictive, but only one could be used at a time. However, there was a technique in unleashing this soul skill. Although only one hexagram array could be used at a time, the position of multiple arrays could be set up beforehand. There wasn't such a need for such a setup in a duel. However, she could set up multiple arrays according to the geographical conditions if they were encircled. The baboon king had a 50,000-year cultivation. Seeing his own tribe members being massacred, he didn't command them to rush up the slope. Instead, he roared furiously and continued to unleash his mass berserk in a bid to neutralize Huo Yuao's mass enfeeblement. Following this, he roared 3 more times. Suddenly, the bloody baboons started to cry out, and thick blood fog was released from their bodies. All the baboons were in a bloodlust state now. Even Zhang Lusan's expression turned serious at this point. It was very difficult to deal with these baboons in their bloodlust state. Zhang Lusan turned and asked Huo Yuao, "Yuao, can your domain avoid harming those on your side?" Huo Yuao shook his head and replied, "No, I can only prevent everyone from being attacked, but the low temperature is unavoidable. Eldest senior sister, why don't Wang Dong and I charge ahead? I don't think it's too dangerous if we use my domain." "No." Zhang Lusan rejected his proposition. He had to be joking. She was supposed to protect Huo Yuao on this mission. How could she let him subject himself to danger? Han Ruoro said, "Then let's stick to the original plan." "Lusan, we won't hold back anymore if we really have no choice." Zhang Lusan nodded slightly. Her 8 soul rings shone, and a dim silvery fog rose from her feet. Her body was covered by the fog, but she appeared indistinctly beautiful at this moment. This was Huo Yuao was shocked. Zhang Lusan wasn't using any soul skills now, but what was this silvery fog she had released? Through his spiritual detection, he could clearly sense Zhang Lusan's soul power and aura rising rapidly under the effect of the fog. It felt as if she was accumulating her strength. The crescent above her head grew larger and larger, and started to expand into a full moon. Zhang Lusan's eyes also shone with silver light at this point. Wang Dongda said softly, "Eldest senior sister seems to be using a secret technique to ignite her own strength. It feels similar to the baboon's bloodlust, only without the mania. If her soul power can be likened to water, then it must be boiling right now." Wang Dongda's explanation was very apt, and Huo Yuao agreed with her assessment. However, this was evidently not the time to be bothered about this. Huo Yuao didn't hold back any further as he faced these strong enemies. A dim golden streak of light shone from his forehead. Following this, a weird golden vertical eye slowly opened. When his eye opened, all the surrounding lights seemed to turn dark. Everyone, including the baboons, turned their attention to Huo Yuao. Third eye? He actually has a third eye. Wang Qiu was also looking at Huo Yuao at this point. She wasn't stunned, but showed a peculiar look instead. She could clearly sense his aura soaring. In terms of scale, he wasn't weaker than Zhang Lusan. Eldest senior sister, we have to capture the king if we want to take all of them down. I'll help you control the baboon king. Senior Han, you can control the entire battlefield. Huo Yuao pulled Wang Dongda to him and came beside Zhang Lusan. Zhang Lusan didn't say anything, and only nodded at him. At this point, the congress of baboons started to exhibit their bloodlust state. The baboons started to grow larger. A layer of dark red light had appeared over their pitch black hair. A thick, fishy smell spread out in a nauseating miasma. Their eyes seemed to be dancing with blood red light. Instantly, the surrounding trees were laid with a dark red color that exuded a dangerous aura. The bloody baboon king roared into the sky. It straightened its body and lifted its thick arms up high. Suddenly, its figure ballooned in size, and every inch of its muscles bulked up massively as its huge fangs grew in length. Even the surrounding air started shaking. The bloody baboon king signaled an attack with an ear-splitting roar. Its speed soared as it targeted Zhang Lusan. Evidently, it had a lot of hatred for her. It even understood that Zhang Lusan was the leader of this team. The baboon king was very different after it ended the bloodlust state. As it burst forward, it left a blood red wake behind it. Before it, a full moon shone, and a streak of silver light shot down towards the baboon king. The baboon king glared. As it roared furiously, it punched its fist out and forcefully crushed the moonlight that was descending towards it. When it unleashed its fist, Huo Yuao could clearly sense that its attack resembled a soul master's offense when they combined their spiritual and soul power. It wasn't a skill, but an innate ability. It was the combination of a bloody baboon's maniacal fighting will and fighting strength as it entered the bloodlust state. Janglisan's eyes shone with silver light. Her first, second, and third soul rings lit up at the same time. The full moon in the air was like a soul tool shooting out soul rays. Streaks of moonlight were fired continuously, all targeting the bloody baboon king. The baboon king seemed to have gone mad too. Although it was unable to charge forward as quickly as before, it still advanced with solid steps. As it moved forward, it destroyed a streak of moonlight every time it waved its fist. Even when the streaks of moonlight struck it, they only reduced its speed and couldn't force it back. At this point, all the bloody baboons in the bloodlust state started to attack all out. Their speed, strength, offense, and defense were all greatly enhanced by their bloodlust state, and they all rushed up the slope. Hanruo was undoubtedly the one under the greatest pressure. Her golden halo was put to use again. However, it couldn't topple the baboons like before. The baboons could only be pushed back slightly. Following that, more and more baboons continued to rush up the slope. Wang Qiu's performance was the most eye-catching. The baboon's bloodlust didn't seem to have any effect on her. Her fighting style was also very uncouth and violent. Her body was completely engulfed by golden light. As dragon roars echoed, every baboon that collided with her was flung into the air. She guarded her area so well that it was seemingly impregnable. Not far from her was the baboon corpse that Huo Yua had previously grabbed with his left hand. Wang Dong's hexagram array also started to take effect. The hexagram array sent two baboons into the air the moment it was activated. They screamed pathetically amidst the fiery light. Each hexagram array only lasted for about 10 seconds before it would change locations and rise again. The magical thing was that the baboon's bloodlust state would be lost once they were burned by the fiery light. It was as if they were being cleansed. However, everyone was still under great pressure. There were simply too many baboons in the bloodlust state, attacking ceaselessly. Hanruo's soul power was also being depleted quickly as she kept on using her golden halo. At this moment, Huo Yua finally acted. A white halo that was much stronger than before started to spread from his head. The bodies of the baboons were covered by a layer of pale white light as the halo passed them, repressing their auras considerably. The white light from the Eye of Destiny was retracted. In the next moment, a purplish gold light surfaced within it. The purplish gold glow in the Eye of Destiny flashed once before disappearing. Suddenly, the bloody baboon king screamed in horror. It grabbed onto its head and shrieked in pain. Janglisan exploited this opportunity. Her sixth soul ring suddenly lit up, and it rose into the air before fusing with the full moon. The full moon transformed. Its original silvery white color turned to dim. Following that, it turned completely black, with a ring-like layer of silver surrounding it. Following this, a silvery halo descended from the sky. Huo Yua could feel that it wasn't actually a silver halo. It was just that the light that it contained was black, making it nigh invisible in the darkness. As the black light flashed, it struck the baboon king, who had been hurt by the Eye of Destiny's spiritual shock. The baboon king's body stiffened. Following this, a streak of moonlight shot straight down from the sky and engulfed its body. A frightening explosion occurred, and the baboon king collapsed. Huo Yua's spiritual detection lost its detection abilities in that direction. He only saw moonlight crashing down after the black light. After that, he couldn't see clearly. The bloody baboon king had already been blown apart and collapsed to the ground. There was a huge stab wound around half a meter in diameter in the center of the baboon king's chest. Its body had been pierced through. More terrifyingly, its hair had turned silver and was melting at an alarming speed. What soul skill was this? It was extremely strong. Huo Yua suspected that the effect of this strike wouldn't change much even without the aid of his spiritual shock. Janglisan was extremely strong. At this point, neither Janglisan nor Hanruo had unleashed their martial soul true bodies. Janglisan remained calm as she looked at the baboon king that had collapsed. In midair, the black moon had turned into a silver moon again. Streaks of bright silver light descended from the sky and flung the baboons into the air. If it were any other soul beast tribe, the death of the king would cause a large drop in morale, and might even cause the rest to retreat. However, the baboons were in their bloodlust state, and were far too bloodthirsty now. Their intensity didn't waver at all. Ruo, come on. It's not early anymore, Janglisan said calmly. All right. Hanruo acknowledged. In the next moment, her body also turned bright golden. Dazzling golden true body. Countless strips of dazzling golden ropes started to extend in all directions. Following this, the ground turned golden, and Hanruo disappeared. However, the ground of the dense forest was shaking tremendously. The baboons seemed to have stepped into a swamp, finding it difficult to move forward. Following this, streaks of golden light shot out from the ground and sent their bodies into the air. Golden Sky Surge. It was Hanruo's 8th soul skill. At this point, there were around 100 baboons left. They were all sent into the air by Hanruo's Golden Sky Surge. After this, the bright moon in the sky expanded. Janglisan's body turned silvery white. The burning white light illuminated her surroundings. In the sky, the bright moon expanded at a terrifyingly quick speed. It reached more than 100 meters instantly, and engulfed all the baboons that had been thrown into the air. Moonlight. Li Yongyu exclaimed. Following this, everyone from Shrek Academy felt their surroundings turning blurry white. Huo Yuao's spiritual detection lost its effect underneath this terrifying white light. The gold from the golden sky surge and the silvery white from the moonlight fused together completely. A bright radiance lasted for close to 5 seconds before it faded away. Plop, 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 plop. A series of heavy impacts sounded out. When everyone regained their vision, they saw many bloody baboon corpses falling from the sky. No, they should be called silvery white baboons instead. The hair of every baboon had turned silvery white, while their bodies were slowly but steadily melting. Janglisan had already returned to her normal state. Her expression was calm, as if nothing had happened. This fight didn't seem to have taken much of a toll on her at all. Not a single baboon could move at this point. The surroundings started to turn abnormally quiet. Even the sounds made by birds and bugs ceased to exist. The night turned terrifyingly silent. Wang Qiu's pupils shrank. As she looked at Janglisan, she furrowed her brow. She was considering how far her abilities were from Janglisan's. This was a soul Douluo's ability. Janglisan had turned into a bright moon with the help of Hanruo's controlling ability as they faced the bloody baboons. As her moonlight was unleashed, all the baboons were defeated. The corpses that Huo Yuao had prepared using his ice explosion technique were not put to use at all. The fight had already ended before he could pull that move. He had thought that it was going to be a tough fight, but it ended so quickly. The bloody baboon king's cultivation is around 50,000 years. Is there anyone who needs and can absorb its soul ring? Its bloodlust is rather effective for close combat soul engineers. The mass berserk isn't too bad, either. Furthermore, it'll be good for your body if you absorb its soul ring. Your strength, tenacity, and defense will all be enhanced. Janglisan seemed to have just performed something insignificant. She first overcame the obstacle before explaining the use of this bloody baboon king. Huo Yuao thought of something and said, "Eldest senior sister, I'm spiritual type soul master. Can I absorb this bloody baboon king?" He was confident in his own physical strength. He had twin martial souls, and now had more than 9 soul rings in total. His was much stronger physically than most other soul kings. After he fused with the Snow Empress spirit, his spiritual power also became a part of why his body was so resilient. He had confidence in absorbing a 50,000 year soul ring. Moreover, Wang Donga could protect him as he did so. The bloody baboon king wasn't dead yet. Its chest was still moving as it lay on the ground. However, the silvery white light was disintegrating its body. The fatal wound on its chest had also turned black and started to decay, the wound expanding in size. The baboon king didn't have long to live. After pondering for a moment, Janglisan replied, "I think it's possible. Although the spiritual power of the baboon king isn't very outstanding, it uses its spiritual power when it initiates its mass berserk and bloodlust. It isn't easy for your spiritual type martial soul to find a suitable soul ring. If you think that its mass berserk or bloodlust can help you, you can absorb its soul ring. After all, it can enhance your physical strength." Huo Yuao didn't even think any further. Give it to me. Indeed, he was very familiar with how difficult it was to find a spiritual type soul ring. He could accept both the effects of mass berserk and bloodlust. Moreover, this baboon king's cultivation was 50,000 50,000 years. He was more than satisfied if his fifth soul ring could be a 50,000-year one. It could also make up for some of his deficiencies in terms of soul skills. In addition, Hua Yuao had his own plan. After the tournament was over, he had some plans for himself. He still desired to improve his physical strength, whether it was on the battlefield or exhibiting stronger soul tools. He needed a strong physical body. Just as Hua Yuao was ready to walk towards the bloody baboon king, he was stopped by someone. It doesn't suit you. Give it to me instead. This sudden voice caused great disharmony within the team. He was stunned to find out that it was Wang Hua who was blocking him. Wang Hua wore a cold look on her face as she spoke to Hua Yuao. After finishing her sentence, she immediately walked towards the bloody baboon king, snatching a soul ring. This was a despicable act under any circumstance, but they were even teammates. A golden light flashed. Wang Donga flapped open her radiant butterfly goddess wings in front of Wang Hua enraged. Do you know what first come first served means? Are we supposed to follow your words just because you said it's not suitable for him? Neither of them were wearing veils at this point. As they clashed, everyone was in a daze, since they both had the same appearance. Wang Hua said coldly, "Get lost. I've said it. This soul beast doesn't suit him." Wang Donga also wore a cold look on her face as she retorted, "Don't think you're great just because you're strong. I'll let you fuse with this soul ring, but only if you beat me in a fight." Wang Hua snorted. "That's easy." Golden light started to rise and dragon roars echoed. "Stop it." A furious voice sounded. As silver light flashed, Zhang Lisan had already stepped in between both ladies. Her expression was very cold. Wang Hua's golden light faded, but the arrogance in her eyes didn't disappear. There was a wintry look in her eyes. Even facing Zhang Lisan, she had no intention of giving way. Zhang Lisan was cross as she said, "What are the two of you doing? Look at the both of you. What is this? Are you still schoolmates from the same academy? In the Great Stardow Forest, you're not just schoolmates, but fellow warriors too. If the two of you continue to bicker, will you still trust each other? Not only are the both of you lookalikes, but you even have similar names. However, you have been at odds since the start. Tell me, what's going on? I'll give you a chance to explain yourselves. Tell me now." Wang Donga and Wang Hua were silent. Wang Donga turned her head away while Wang Hua lifted her head towards the sky. Both of them were speechless. "Tell me. Say something. Whatever problem you have with each other, lay it out now. Otherwise, both of you should return to the academy immediately. I've led many teams in my time, but I've never seen anything like this. What are the two of you planning to do?" Zhang Lisan was furious. The further they went into the forest, the more dangerous it was. Even though she had teamed up with Han Ruoro to defeat the bloody baboons earlier, it had taken their all. Even so, there was still some disharmony within the team. How could they venture further in given this situation? Wang Donga replied, "Eldest senior sister, Yua said he wanted the soul ring first, but she tried to snatch it from him. How despicable can she get? Am I wrong to stop her?" Wang Hua groaned. "I told him that this soul beast doesn't suit him." Wang Donga raged. "Are your words final? Do you know how difficult it is for Yua to find soul rings, given that he's a spiritual type soul master? He finally found one that's suitable, but you want to snatch it from him. I won't let you." Zhang Lisan also looked at Wang Hua and asked, "When I asked everyone just now, why didn't you speak up? You only said something after Yua made his decision. Explain your actions." Wang Hua replied indifferently, "I said that this soul ring doesn't suit him. It's still slightly suitable for me. I'm doing this for his own good." Zhang Lisan replied, "Although you just joined Shrek, your understanding of martial souls should be quite good considering your cultivation. I'm sure you know how rare spiritual type soul beasts are. To find one that fits Hua Yuao's cultivation is also very difficult. If you can tell me a soul beast that fits him in this forest and point out roughly where it can be located, I'll allow you to absorb this soul ring." Wang Hua turned to Hua Yuao and asked, "Hua Yuao, do you trust me? If you do, give me this soul ring. I'll lead the way from now on. It's not my first time entering the forest. If I'm not remember wrongly, I can bring you somewhere to find a suitable soul ring. Otherwise, you can take my life." Her words sounded very serious. As she said this, even Wang Donga's fury dissipated. Although the bloody baboon king's soul ring was very valuable, it was too much to lay down one's life for it. Furthermore, it wasn't difficult for Wang Hua to find a suitable soul ring given her abilities. Her words proved that she was confident in helping Hua Yuao. Hua Yuao walked up to Wang Donga and grabbed her hands before nodding his head at Wang Hua. "I trust you. You can absorb it, but you're running out of time." Wang Hua didn't waste any more time. She quickly made her way to the baboon king. Wang Donga wanted to say something, but Hua Yuao gripped her hands tightly, and she held her indignation. Zhang Lisan turned to Hua Yuao, and he nodded at her. She didn't say anything else, but followed Wang Hua with the rest. Wang Hua and the baboon king were surrounded by the rest of the team. Wang Hua's palm was already resting on the baboon king's forehead, and she ended its life. After that, she sat cross-legged, and a black soul ring drifted up from the baboon king's body. It was definitely a 50,000-year soul ring. When it appeared, the air seemed to become viscous, and a ferocious aura was exuded from it. Zhang Lisan asked, "Wang Hua, are you confident? This 50,000-year soul ring is far above your cultivation limit." Wang Hua shook her head and used her actions to provide the answer to the question. As golden light flashed, an image of a golden dragon appeared on her back. The size of this golden dragon wasn't very large, but it was clear, and seemed almost alive. Its wings flapped open, and it lifted its head proudly. It seemed a little scornful as it looked at the baboon king before opening its mouth to absorb it. The black soul ring started to be engulfed by the golden dragon. The golden light then returned to Wang Hua's body. Wang Hua sat there and didn't move a single inch. A dim golden halo started to emanate from her body. As the golden light surged, it looked like a gentle fog. While her soul power experienced intense undulations, they didn't seem violent. It was plain to see that Wang Hua had suppressed the aura of the baboon king's soul ring, as no sign of it leaked out. Zhang Lisan was stunned. She knew that she had to look at Wang Hua in a different light from now on. She had thought that her appraisal of Wang Hua was already very high, but right now it didn't seem high enough. It wasn't simple to absorb a 50,000-year soul ring. At least, Zhang Lisan wasn't certain that she could do it before she became a soul emperor. Even when she absorbed her 100,000-year soul ring, it had been a stroke of fate, and she had had the protection of other, stronger individuals. After that absorption, she had to rest for half a year before she fully recovered. Thus, she was stunned to seeing Wang Hua absorbing the soul ring effortlessly. This was evidently not because of her cultivation, but the strength of her body. Her martial soul also completely suppressed the bloody baboon king. On a spiritual level, the soul ring couldn't struggle at all. She completely overwhelmed the baboon king to complete this fusion. "Everyone, please be careful. The smell of blood is very strong, and might attract other soul beasts." Zhang Lisan warned the rest, and also gestured for Hua Yuao to activate his spiritual detection. Hua Yuao took this chance to get busy. First, he moved the baboon corpses 500 meters from where they were. The corpses formed a circle that surrounded all of them. He took an hour to finish this task. Wang Hua's soul power was rising quickly the whole time. As her aura grew stronger and stronger, she evidently reached a critical stage in her fusion. Hua Yuao was slightly fatigued, and sat cross-legged before he started to meditate. Wang Donga sat opposite him and cultivated with him. Thanks so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Also leave a comment down below with suggestions on what novels to read.